Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of the Slim and Kooz podcast, brought to you by Harley Davidson of Xenia. My name's Slim.
And I'm Kooz. And on this episode, we're going to have some great interviews for you. And the first one being a great interview from Kent, the sales manager at Harley Davidson of Xenia.
Secondly, we're going to have Dave, one of the master mechanics from Harley Davidson of Xenia, teaching you how to reset the pin on your Harley Davidson motorcycle just in case you lose your fob and you need to get to the dealership to get another one.
And finally, you're going to see some sights and sounds from some of the local bike nights that Slim and I travel around to, where we ask one special question each week. This week's question is, what makes a great bike night?
Hey, this is Slim from the Slim and Kooz podcast. Today we're here with Kent, the sales manager of Harley Davidson of Xenia. And
Harley Davidson's our weekly sponsor this week, and we wanted to welcome Kent and maybe ask you a few questions. So the first question is going to be, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your position here at Harley Davidson of Xenia, and anything else you'd like folks to know about you.
I'm a Xenia kid, born and raised in Xenia, Ohio, home of Harley Davidson of Xenia. Played athletics at Xenia High School, wrestled, played football, all that good stuff. Went to Wright State University, earned my bachelor's in arts and political science and history. So I have a degree from Wright State University, local college. As far as my relationship with Harley Davidson of Xenia, also known as Buckman's Harley Davidson and Buckman's D&D. The old owner, John Smith, better known as Snuffy, his son and I were best friends from junior high through high school and then college and thereafter. So I've been around Buckman's pretty much since John opened it in '84.
So you've seen the ownership change. How many times it's changed? A couple times, right? Or once?
Just once. So it went from John Smith to Dave Cottrell. So
Gotcha.
we did change our name, our DBA name to Buckman's, or Harley Davidson Xenia. That's just a name change. It wasn't ownership change, just name change.
now, has it always been in this building, or where did it originate when you first started here?
The original building was on 59 East 2nd Street, downtown Xenia. Can't remember what it was when I was a kid, but it was next door to the Elks Club, or actually next door to the old Ohio Bell building. And then John expanded in the early 90s and bought 57 East 2nd Street. And that became Motor Clothes and Parts, and then service. And what little sales floor there was back then was on the 59 East 2nd Street address.
Okay.
So actually we had, at the end on 2nd Street, we had three buildings. So 57, 59, and then I believe the other address was 55 or 53. It was old, when I was a kid, it was, when I got my driver's license, actually the old B&B, and now it's WBZI Radio. That was our hall building.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when did you guys move here then?
September of 2003.
Okay.
Nice. And for viewers, what's the address out here?
1213 Cincinnati Avenue.
So come on out, make sure you see us, and buy a bike from Man Slim.
That's right.
So how's the process of buying Harley Davidson's changed since when you first started with Harley to now? And then what do you see in the future?
So when I first started working for Snuffy, how I got the job is the employee he had that was the general manager / salesperson at the time left the company, and John was selling, or Snuffy was selling motorcycles, and Harley Davidson corporate told him he couldn't, he's the owner, he's not a salesperson, so he had to hire a salesperson. I called his son to see where we were going to drink beer that night.
Oh yeah, that's how everything starts.
And he said, hey, my dad wants to talk to you. Now, mind you, I grew up with Rod. So it was like, what the hell is Snuffy want to talk to me about? What did I do wrong? Because Snuffy was a pretty tough dude. So pretty scary too for a young guy. So I met Rod up at the shop, 59 East 2nd Street, and hung out with him and Snuffy said he always liked me, you know, always knew I was one of the good kids, never got in trouble, and had a college degree. So he said, you know, you want to come to work for me? At the time, I was working at Heidelberg Distributing, selling Budweiser. So I thought what would be cooler than go from selling Budweiser to selling Harley. So I started working for John in June of 2000, I believe. At that point in time, all the bikes we had coming in off the truck were pre-sold.
Really?
There wasn't a bike to be had that was not sold before it came off the semi-truck.
So no inventory in the shop.
Absolutely no inventory.
How'd they know it was going to be sold? They just came and looked through a magazine?
We had a lottery system. So at the beginning of the model year, we would get our allocation amount, and the motor company would let you know how many bikes are being allocated for the year. And then we would have, the process was if you were upstanding member of our hog chapter, so you had to earn so many points through attending events, volunteering and stuff. Hog members were able to order their bikes before everybody else.
Really?
So hog members would order first, and then what we would do is have basically a hat or a bucket, and the hog members would put their names in, whoever wanted to buy bikes that year. Then we draw them out and have positions 1 through however many it was. So the first person was able to get order the bike they wanted. Of course, we had color charts and knew what models because the dealer show had already happened. We were able to get the bikes on order for customers. And then after the hog members would all get their bikes on order, then we'd go to the public jar or the public bucket and pull the names out of there. And then call those people in order and order their bikes. Periodically through the year, Harley would send us supplemental allocation, which they still do today. So at the time, we would go to our list of I want and call them, and then they would come in and put a $500 cash deposit down, and then we'd order the bike. Or if there's a bike that's already on order, someone backed out of, give them an opportunity to buy that bike.
Oh, wow.
So it'd be, back then it was like, okay, the guys want a Heritage Softail, but you had a Dyno Wide Glide come in. He'd take the Wide Glide.
Really? Just because he knew how long you'd have to wait?
Yeah. I mean, each dealership did it different back then. F&S, Harley Davidson in Dayton, they would put their bikes on the floor, and basically if you weren't there as it rolled out of the showroom onto the showroom floor, you didn't get it. There would be people waiting in the showroom like on Tuesday every week to see what bikes were coming out.
Really?
And they would sell.
So they'd wait 5 minutes. If you weren't there, it's going to the next person.
Yeah, I mean, whoever was first come, first serve. It was pretty crazy. I think Brian Cubbage up in Mid-Ohio did sort of the same process we did, ordering the bikes. Ferd and Thelma, who owned the Harley Davidson dealerships in Cincinnati, theirs was a little bit different. They really only wanted to sell you a bike if you had a trade-in. Because at the time, the Harleys were selling faster you can get them. So if you had a trade-in, you were able to buy the bike at MSRP. If you didn't have a trade-in, it was like $2,500 over MSRP. So from when I started selling bikes, your first question was, and all that stuff I said before, I would laugh. My mom would be like, hey, how many bikes did you sell today? And I'd be like, I delivered 6, but I didn't sell anything. I was an order taker. It was like I was working at McDonald's taking the order for a cheeseburger.
Did you still get a commission or anything for
No,
that?
no, I didn't.
It was just orders.
Stuff he just paid me.
Wow.
So at the time, I had free health insurance. Snuff took care of us. That's just the way it was.
Well, that kind of leads into the next question about, how's the process changed over the years? And well, obviously it's changed quite a bit.
We started seeing the changes in 2003. They had I think it was 15-month production year to supply all the 100th anniversary bikes that Harley envisioned they would sell, and we sold a lot. But what was funny is at the end of that 2003 model years when we moved here, and it was actually the first time I had a couple bikes that sat on the floor for more than a day. I had like an Electric Glide Classic that was left over, an Electric Glide Standard, and a Fat Boy. And it actually took like a week or two before someone came in and just bought it. But I didn't really have to sell it because people were just looking to buy it. They didn't care. So 2004 model year, maybe 1/3 of my allocation was ordered. The rest was bikes that hit the floor. And quickly we realized that the stager we're sitting on right now is supposed to be our sales floor. That's it.
Just this size?
Just this.
Dang.
Well, because prior to that, dealers never had inventory.
So was there a lot of interaction between the different dealers that were local here? Like, did you get phone calls that said, "Hey, I got a customer that's looking for a vet," or they just showed up here?
They just showed up.
They just showed up here.
The dealer trading, I'll get to that here in a minute. That came along later. But 04, we started seeing a transition where we had inventory on the floor. I was ordering bikes, trying to guess what color would be popular, which model would be popular, and started learning the trends and customers' wants and wishes beginning in 04. 06 was really the year where it was like, hold on to your hat, where we had bikes still in crates with multiple bikes, the same model, same color, in crates in our old building on 2nd Street that were not set up. And I mean, we had so much inventory, and it was every dealer. Then in 07, Petrocrafts, boats, motorcycle dealerships, machine shops, RV camper shops started feeling this weird little trend in the market. And that was what was better known as the Great Recession. Started seeing a really downturn in sales, enthusiasm for sales. Started having at the time where, when I first started here, 25% of my customers were General Motors employees. What was funny is during doing a credit app, you'd ask a guy from GM, what's your work phone number? They didn't know. But I knew all of the HR departments. I had them on a postcard on my desk, all the HR departments for
validity.
Yeah, for Woodman, for Inland, for Needmore, for the airbag plant up in Vandalia. I had all the human resources numbers for the guys for GM, because literally 25% of my customers were from GM. Today, it's zero. There's absolutely nobody from General Motors.
That's kind of sad.
But back on track is, so in 07, we started seeing the recession hit. 08 and 09 were brutal. You had the closure of what was Aces and Eights. Now Powder Keg, it closed for a full year. They went out of business per se, and then came back up as Powder Keg. Just the year after that, F&S, Gary Stolzenberg, went out of business, and then was closed for basically a year, and then came back as Buckeye like in 2011 or something like that, late 2010. But it was this weird, really volatile, scary time, 08, 09.
That was the same with the housing market, right? Everybody was losing houses and everything else,
Yeah.
so they couldn't afford the luxuries of bikes. And
it was, Harley was giving away 0.099 financing, everything they could to get people in. I mean, Warren Buffett had to bail out Harley Davidson Financial. I mean, it was pretty crazy. But as far as sales, it changed because we had vehicle inventory. But in the early mid-2000s, early 2010s, it wasn't what we see today with how customers shop bikes. We still had a lot of floor traffic that would come in, and people would just see the bike for the first time here at the dealership, not online, and they would buy. So you had a lot more customer interaction from the very beginning. Today, with the internet and internet shopping, people are online. I forget how many times Harley says, 15, 20 times they'll visit your website before they visit your dealership. You don't have that much customer interaction like you did back in the day. They're coming in here already knowing what bike they want, what color they want, what accessories they want, and they know what the prices are, you would think, but they can find the MSRP pricing online. So the customers are coming in a little bit more educated, I guess you would say, but it's just different with the fact that it's the amount of online stuff. It's not as personal or relatable as what it once was. So.
With that, were there any models? What were the hottest selling models originally, and then where did it gravitate toward? Where is it today?
So really, when I first started here, that was either an Ultra Classic or a Heritage Softail. It was number one, number two. Ultra Classic was one, Heritage Softail was two, probably Electric Glide Classic was three, and then from there, as far as big twins, then the Fat Boy, and maybe the Wide Glide, then the Deuce, and then so on and so forth.
today, that's obviously got to be the Road Glide's got to be one, I would think.
Yeah, that you started seeing that change where the frame-mounted fairing Road Glide started gaining traction in 2013-ish. 12, 13, you started seeing this uptick. in Road Glide sales. And then they didn't have the Road Glide for the 2014 model year. And then when they released it with all the Rushmore advances in 2015, we saw this explosion on the Road Glide scene. And then this year, I would say truly this is the first year where I can say Road Glide's dominant. And so the Road Glide model has become the dominant seller for us. But put it this way, when I started working for Snuffy, I always tell people this funny stories. He said, whatever you do, Big Kent, don't order a Road Glide. don't order a Road Glide for dealer inventory unless somebody orders it. So in like 07, I ordered one, a Black Pearl, really cool looking bike, but it sat here for like 13 months. And John reminded me every Saturday. Because Snuffy would come in here and hang out with us Saturday. It was always fun to have Snuff here with us and have him tell the stories. And then the old biker guys that were friends of Snuffy would come on Saturday, and it was always cool to hang out with those guys. So, but yeah, you started seeing the Road Glide take over the last couple of years, where it's been the preeminent model in our lineup. So
Yeah, so that's awesome. So how do you make it easy for customers to buy with confidence, with Harley Davidson of Xenia?
Right. So we've always had price tags on our bikes, and I always have to laugh that when I go to Kroger, I look at the prices of, say, black beans, from Bush's to Kroger brand or this or that or the other, and I know what the prices are, so I can make my buying decision based on those prices. So we have price tags on our bikes. That allows you to look at the price of the bike and make your buying decision based on the price of the bike. Some dealerships use the approach of no pricing. They only want you to be sold on a monthly payment. I actually went to a sales process school. This guy named Ed Limco put it on, and it was very, very eye-opening to be sitting in there in these presentations as they sold the approach as to sell payment, not price.
That's terrible.
Because the way to work it is you ask somebody how much they can afford to pay a month. And majority of people are going to say something like $500, $800 a month. They're looking at a $10,000 bike, but they just gave you permission to sell them $500 on a month.
Yeah.
So now that bike with no price tag on it went from a $10,000 bike to a $15,000 bike with this package, paint protection, that package, this, that, and the other.
But you got them under their payment and they're happy.
And
right?
the way you work it is you say, man, my boss around, I'm telling you, dude, I can't believe this deal I got you. She's not that bad, but man, I got you $420 a month. Can you believe that? Sign here.
Yeah. And then they're unhappy 6 months down the road. They try to trade it in and they realize they're upside down.
And then they come to a dealer like us where it's like, I just bought that bike. This can't be right.
Right.
Which has happened quite a few times, especially on Sportsters, where people see the price tag and they're like, oh, this isn't right. I just bought this bike and it was $19,000.
I'm not going to say it. We see it at bike night, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people come up to Slim quite a bit and say, hey, I've got this bike. I bought it from a different dealer. We're not going to name names. And then all of a sudden, Slim's like, well, you got to look at what it's actually worth. I can't help you there.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. And it's a shame, but each business can do business the way they choose. We just choose to do it in a different way. I'm a kid from Xenia. Like I said, I still live here in town. It's not like I want to go to Nick's or down to Slim's in Spring Valley where my mom was raised, or out to Rouse in Wilmington where my dad was raised, and sort of feel embarrassed.
There's the guy that screwed me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I get it.
No, so it's a small town dealership that's family owned, and we like it to keep it that way and make everything above board and honest. Can we always put a deal together? No. But we do try hard, and numbers are numbers, but you can make numbers look a little bit different. And some dealerships are just a lot more savvy or smoother than we are, I guess. They're better salespeople as far as the getting in your pocket, but just an honest deal with honest numbers. We put them together, and
I think it keeps the customer for the long haul.
Right.
And transparency is what got me here as a customer for the last 7 years before I ever started selling. And the first thing I said is, if we ever got to go away from transparency, I'm not working here anymore, because I got to be able to look all my neighbors in the eye.
Right. So that's the thing, is keeping everything above board and letting you make your decision. And, and the big, you were asking about the changes in business. It's just how much more work I have to put on these guys as far as follow up on the internet. The texting, I think I got Ian. I mean, I'm, the texting stuff's just not my gig.
But it's how everyone communicates.
Right.
No one wants to pick up the phone and talk
Nobody will
anymore.
pick up the phone
No,
anymore.
no one will.
So it's a lot different when it comes to that kind of stuff. So,
So what's the one thing you want to leave everybody with as we wrap this up?
we're honest. I mean, we're honest. We have to make money. The dealership has to make money. I mean, the building doesn't get painted for free or heated for free or air conditioned for free. And my medical insurance that the dealership pays part of isn't free. So we do make a profit here. Is our dealership making $10 million a year? No. Has he put his own money in this dealership and not took any money for years? Yes. I mean, I think we're, to be honest, most dealerships teeter on the edge of red and black. So some years you're in red, some years you're in the black. But people thinking that you own a Harley Davidson dealership, you're a gazillionaire. That's not the truth. Maybe some of the guys own 15, 20 stores, like the Veracases and some of the other guys. Yeah, but a lot of them have money from other sources, either finance companies or brand management companies, but they ended up somehow with Harley Davidson dealerships. But your good local mom and pop dealership, it's a struggle. And when we're selling you a bike, we're honest and try to get it to you for the right price. Because basically, sooner or later, 3 years down the road, you're going to come back in and want to trade it in. And if I gouge you on the front end, I can't take care of you 3 years later. But we have customers that come here 3 years later and can get taken care of because we do it right. So,
Okay, we appreciate it. As always, thank you.
I appreciate working for you.
So we'd like to thank everybody for joining in. And as always, ride safe.
And be good. Hey everybody, it's your boy Slim. Welcome to the first episode of Master Tech Monday. And I'm here with David, one of our Master Techs, and he's going to show you how to reset your PIN code so that if you ever lose your fob, you can put in your PIN code and then get to the dealership to buy a new fob. David, take it away.
All right, start off with this is for 2014 to 2023. And also to note, you have to have your fob present. If you don't know your PIN, you'll have to get with a dealership. So what we're going to do on this one is we're going to make sure our run switch is turned off. We're going to cycle our ignition on. Then we're going to count 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to hit your turn signal twice. And it's going to pop up to tell you to enter your PIN. If you want to know your current PIN, you're going to hit the right switch. It's going to display your current PIN. That's what's in the bike right now. Now to change it from there, what you're going to do is you're going to use your left turn signal. It's going to rotate your digit. So if you want, you'll hit it. And you can see here how it's changing it. And then you're going to hit your left to enter it. At that point, you go through your 5 digits. You can pick whatever you want as long as there's no zeros. And it'll program your new PIN in there. Once you're done with that, you're going to turn your ignition off, turn your run switch back off. It's going to power the bike right back off. From there, you got your new PIN installed. Everything should be ready to go.
And David, that's for every bike between 2014 and 2023?
Yes.
Okay. So will you show us the 2024s because they're a little bit different?
It's a little bit different setup. So what we're going to do on the 24s is we're going to come over here. What you're going to want to do is turn your run switch on. We have to let the radio completely boot up. So you'll watch the icon on it. It'll flash back and forth. Once it's done flashing, your radio will be up to date. Takes a minute sometimes. All right, once it's up, you're gonna go to your systems. What you're gonna do from there is go down, hit the system button here. You're gonna scroll down Go to System Information. Once you go to System Information, you'll have the option to go down and change your security PIN. Once you're in there, it'll bring up all your digits. Same story on this one. You can do 5 digits, no zeros, whatever you pick. Once it's programmed, it'll pop up and tell you everything's accepted. It'll tell you your key fob asked for president, and all you're going to do is hit your back button here, and it'll take you right back out of all your screen. And from there, everything is updated. Then you'll just cycle the bike back off, and everything's good to go. 24s are pretty fairly simple to do.
Well, everybody, that's your Master Mechanic Monday. Thanks for joining us. Now, if you lose your fob, you can at least enter your PIN and get to the dealership and get a new fob, so your bike will be rideable. Have a great day. Ride safe and be cool. Hey, this is Slim of Slim and Kooz podcast. Tonight we're at 1572 Barbecue at the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, we're out here tonight collecting data for our first podcast. The episode will be posted on the Harley Davidson of Xenia Facebook page. And we're going around and randomly asking folks, what makes a great bike night? That's this week's question. So tune in, come on out, get your gear from Harley Davidson of Xenia, and look for us on the Facebook page. So ride safe.
And be cool. I'm out here at 1572 Roadhouse Barbecue with the head of Bike Night, Mike.
Yes. Hey, yeah, go ahead.
What do you think makes a good bike night to you?
What makes a great bike night to me? The weather. Beautiful weather. I think this is a great place to come to because it's a good ride. You know, it's not stuck in Dayton or whatever. You're allowed to pull your bikes inside, walk around, drink your beers or waters, have your food. We got great food here. We've got a really great crowd here. I think a really great crowd makes it. The people in the crowd, the bikers, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's what I think makes a good night. We've never had any issues here, except for loud bikes.
Hey, that's not an issue, that's a benefit.
That's a benefit, right? You know, we've never had any issues. Everybody gets along, everybody knows everybody. It's like one big happy family. And to me, that's what makes a great bike night.
Makes a good bike night is good food, great music, wonderful bikers, and obviously wonderful vendors.
Great bike night is the 3 Bs. We got the bands, the beers, and the bikes, right? I think it's amazing that we have such a culture out here. We get the bikers out here, and we've got a great community. There's a great vibe. We're blessed with great weather, and this is the only place to be right now.
Sounds good. So when people come out here, what do you want them to know about this place?
I want to expose them to Rouse, man. I want to expose them to the R&L community. For those that don't know, I want them to know our people, to know what we have to offer to the community. And I want to be part of the community. That's why we've got great partners like you and Freedom Whiskey, and we're trying to do big things out here, man.
Great bike night is great food, great partnership, great community involvement, and especially being a part of our major partnership with Harley Davidson of Xenia. It's a great night tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man, to me, what makes a great bike night is all these beautiful bikes out here. Everybody puts a little custom touch to them, makes them their own. It's just nice to check everything out.
That's true right there.
Good food and music.
Nice.
Yeah, probably music, definitely. Bike, drinks, of course.
Yeah, drink. Appreciate it.
Good friends, good food, good music.
A lot of good looking bikes and some good food to chow down on. Nice. Few beers go along with it. That never hurts. All right.
No drama and everybody's brotherhood.
This is Slim from Harley Davidson of Xenia, and I'm with Rusty from the Eagle Riders in Miamisburg. They're doing a bike raffle. Rusty, tell us about the bike and what the cause is.
And we got a gorgeous 2008 Harley Davidson Sportster 883. We can give this to your wife and girlfriend. And it's just a really nice bike. We got it all cleaned up. All our money goes to charities. We're Eagle Riders in Miamisburg. We don't keep the money. It goes to needy families, kids, and whatnot. And this bike killed us on my bin block.
Aaron, so what do you think makes a good bike?
I mean, just the crowd. I mean, it's it's always a good time.
Friends, bikes, and good alcohol.
What makes a good bike night, man, is some cool vibes, some good vibes, some cool people, badass bikes, and some ice cold beer.
Comrades, everybody being together, coming out, everybody got a love for two wheels.
Good atmosphere, good people, cold beer, good time, brother.
Good food, nice bikes.
Good beer, a lot of Harleys.
I would say good atmosphere, plenty of drinks, good music, a little bit of shade, lots of bikes.
Man, I'll tell you what, being a veteran myself and also overseeing as the director of sales and marketing for Holiday Inn and Roberts Convention Center, what really is special to me is the overall camaraderie and just the togetherness of everything that brings out. You can't beat that, and it's hard to find.
Thanks for joining us on the first episode. We had a blast putting it out, and we look forward to episode 2 coming up next week. If you want to get a hold of us for any kind of sponsorship or just to make comments or to ask us to be at an event, please email us at slimandkoozpodcast@protonmail.com.
And as always, get out there and like and follow us on our YouTube channel, which is Slim and Kooz Podcast, and also follow and like us on Instagram.
That's also Slim and Kooz Podcast. And follow Harley Davidson of Xenia on Facebook.
We appreciate everybody's support, and we look forward to the next episode.
And as always,
ride safe
and be cool. Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of the Slim and Poo.
Slim and Poo.
Hey everybody, I'm Slim from the Harley.
No.
Hey everyone.
Who are you?
on Facebook.
There you go. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, but.
So that wraps up the week 1 episode.
And if you have any, oh shit, I fucked that up.
And if you got any critiques or you want to give us any feedback or sponsorship, follow us. Ride
safe
and be cool.